Hi and good morning all, this is Phil, and it is morning still. It's 7:15, not even 7:15. And I'm just hoping to record a fairly short vlog this time. Yeah, let's just say that we're getting fairly long. The last couple that I've recorded, 44 minutes of recording, and even though I split it into two, it's two 20-minute videos. So just try and keep them short. I've just finished work, and yeah, got home, finished work at 6, got home, had my tablets and some toast, and I was going to go straight to bed and sleep through to this afternoon, but I thought I'll just jump on the bike. I'll have half an hour or an hour, hopefully, before everybody else gets up and sets off to work. As you can see, the roads are very quiet at the moment, fairly quiet at the moment. So my topic's going to be a response to a couple of people I've subscribed to, ElleiotReidMD and Blahdeblah. I believe ElleiotReidMD posted the first one. I've just checked before I set off out. His opinions on the death penalty, and Elliot Reid posted the first one. Blahdeblah posted a response to that. And I'm just going to throw my 2 pence worth in and let you know my opinions. First off, I am totally in favour of the death penalty. I think it absolutely needs to be available. Needs to be, has to be. And my reasons, Elliot Reid uses one particular miscarriage of justice. Let's be honest, it was a farce. It was the whole story of Let Him Have It. If you've ever seen it, it's been made into a film, which is how I know about it, knew about it already before Pete's video. Saying let him have it to somebody who's pointing a gun at a policeman either means shoot him, gangster street speak, let him have it, shoot him, or let him have it can mean give him the gun. So yeah, ambiguity. There should never have been a death penalty given in that case, and I believe it was that case and the aftermath of that case that had the death penalty withdrawn, banned in this country. That was, I believe, the last one ever carried out. But that's one case, and it was a miscarriage of justice and a misuse of the death penalty, in my opinion. The death penalty has to be available because, even as Pete says, as dead set against it as he is, forgive the pun, dead set, but as absolutely opposed as he is to allowing the death penalty to be available at all, he says, unless you are 100% or 1,000% sure of the guilt of the person and that the death penalty is appropriate. Well, here's another name for you to research then. Stephen Griffiths, aka the Crossbow Cannibal. And when I set off and started recording this from my home, this is how far it's taken me, how long it's taken me to get here, which is, I'm going to shut the bike down, which is a block of flats where the crossbow cannibal lived, where he committed the crimes. That's where he murdered the 3 prostitutes that he murdered. That's the building. So from setting off up there and riding this far, I didn't measure it in miles, I didn't check the distance, but it's not taken me 5 minutes to get here. That's the building where he killed them. Now, I've just seen the documentary on Discovery Crime and Investigation channel, Crimes That Shook Britain, and because I saw the advert a few days in advance saying that it was going to be the crossbow cannibal, and I know that it's right on my doorstep, I set the digital box and recorded it and watched it. And you do your own research. We can all only go on what we're being told in the media. If it's a documentary about this guy, or if it's the film Let Him Have It, or the eyewitness reports and statements that you're basing your opinions on, that's all we can all do, is that. Base our opinions on the reports and the facts made available to us. Now, a couple of points to make in this case. The CCTV cameras inside that building caught on film Stephen Griffiths chasing a prostitute from his flat who was trying to get away from him and shooting her with a crossbow with a bolt in it. It caught him shooting her in the head and killing her on video, and instead of trying to get away with it or denying it, he gestured to the camera that he realised was there and filming him. He stood in front of it and waved his crossbow and gave an obscene hand gesture to the camera with his full face on view after he'd shot and killed this lady. So there's one point, and he's then dismembered the bodies, cooked and eaten certain parts of the bodies, and then dismembered them and disposed of them in a local river in bags, in several pieces, not just 5 or 6 pieces, but many tens of pieces of body separately. Now, one of the things mentioned in this documentary is that when they found the head of one of the victims in a bag, it still had a crossbow bolt in it and a knife stuck in it, in the head, in a bag, in a river. He did it. There's no question of it. He admits it, and I know that that's another point of contention with the people who are against the death penalty, is that people who didn't commit the crime end up confessing to the crime and then are falsely sentenced, or have been in the past, and they either admit to it because of the pressure of the questioning, so a statement is forced out of them, or they are not very strong-minded, what's the most polite way to put it? They haven't got all the faculties about them in the first place, and they own up to it for their own reasons. But this guy, he did it. He's caught, he's on video, he did it. The way he killed them was with a crossbow and a crossbow bolt in the head. It was caught on video and the head was found with the bolt in it. Now, he didn't kill one, he killed 3. And as far as I'm aware, they only found body parts for 2, so 1 is still missing. He knows where she is, but he will not tell anybody where she is. So what else can you do? He's serving, I believe, 3 life sentences. Now, 1 life sentence should mean life. Now, if you agree with this, if you agree that you've got the 1000% proof, if you agree that life should mean life, how can you not agree that to keep him for the rest of his natural life at our expense, clothed, fed, under shelter, warm, with a TV and all the facilities available, he's going to have Sky and Xboxes and play whatever games he wants with other people, and he's walking around with the knowledge in his head of what he's done and where the people, where the remains are. That's just one example. You've got your example, I've got my example. And if I could be bothered, and if I was going to record for a long time, I'd take a little ride from here, because within 2 miles, I would say less than 2 miles of here, I could show you Peter Sutcliffe's house. And I'm not even going to go down that route, but there's one. The crossbow killer, Stephen Griffiths, look him up. He's serving 3 life sentences, and after those 3 life sentences, when he dies, still at Her Majesty's pleasure, locked up in custody. There will be no bringing him back. There will be no changing of decisions. He will be dead. He will have spent his whole life in prison, but we will have paid for it. You and I will have worked and got up and gone to work every day to earn the money to pay to keep him alive. I would rather he wasn't alive. If he is he's never going to be a useful part of society or contribute to society or allowed into society. I would rather he wasn't alive. I could sleep easily at night knowing if he was sentenced to death and it was carried out. I would have no problem with that. I'm sure there are some people who would, but the world's a free place. You're entitled to your opinions, and that's the beauty of it. You can have your opinion, you can share your opinion. This is just mine. There's the cannibal, crossbow cannibal. There's the Yorkshire Ripper, Peter Sutcliffe, also from Bradford, in the Manningham area or Heaton area. I'm not sure which part he's in. He's in the border between Manningham and Heaton. I could ride up there now to his house, go into town, turn left, go out up Manningham Lane, and I'd take you to his house, but I'm not going to do that. And that's just 2, and that's just in Bradford, and they're both within 3 miles of where I live. And then you've got all the other Bradys and Huntleys and Hindley and the Fred and Rosemary West. How you can say because of one miscarriage of justice that the death penalty should never be used or should not be an option or shouldn't be available, I don't understand. It has to be there, it has to be available. It may not be suitable in every case. It should not be automatic death penalty for murder, but horrific, gruesome murders, cannibalistic acts, dismembering of bodies, disposing of them in rivers where they end up found by the public. Somebody has to sit down and make a decision in these cases every time. You decide whether it's appropriate or not. The other case quoted by Blahdeblah, who tells of one of his friends who had served time for murder. In his particular case, you have to sit and assess it. He killed somebody with a knife after a confrontation where he was set about by 2 people in a pub. He went away and broke a shop window and came back with a knife and killed one of the 2 attackers. So it is premeditated murder. It's not something that's happened during the fight. It's not something that happened accidentally. It's an intention. It's a plan. He's set out to do it. But it's again down to judgment. Is there a death penalty due? for that. But if then, even if for that he's sentenced to life, you know, as nice a guy as he might be now, as reformed as he might be, if he's sentenced to life, and you all, well, if you believe that life should mean life, he's never going to get out again, so he's still going to spend the rest of his life. Life shouldn't mean 10 years, and life shouldn't mean 18 years or 20 years. If somebody at 30 years old commits murder and goes to prison for life, he could live for 40 years, 40, 50, 60 years more. And if he gets out after 20 of them, he's done less than a quarter of his life in jail. If he lives to 90, he's done less than a quarter of his life in jail. He's got the rest of his life back, and he's got his human rights and all the courts of appeal and courts of human rights to stand up for him. Where are the human rights of the people who have been murdered and the families of the people who have been murdered? The victims never have any rights. If you're a victim of a crime, your rights are taken away, and the criminals are then automatically got a huge legal system behind them, backing up their human rights. And there's a miscarriage of justice for you. The rights of victims are taken by the perpetrator of the crime, and then the perpetrator of the crime gets legal representation and human rights and appeals. Screwed up. What a system, eh? But there you go. That's my 2 pence worth. I hope I kept it short enough. I'm not sure how long I've recorded, but I'm going to stop it. I was planning on going out on the bike. Well, when I decided I was going to go out on the bike, I thought I won't take the camera. I'll just have a ride for me and go where I want to go and not record anything. But I've done that, and now I'm going to have a little blast. So take care, and I'll catch you all again. Ride safe. This is Pip.